Louise, what do you got going today? What are you working on?
Well, I'm going to go down and give this flyer and drop some jars off at the glass company down on South Wharf. I developed this program probably back in 2 years ago. It'll be 2 years in December.
You started this program,
yes.
Island-wide giving, help
yes.
your neighbors. Why did you start that?
Well, we had the recession. Remember the beginning of the recession that year, and I knew that there were going to be a lot of people on the island that were going to be in need. And I tried to figure out what I could do to help, and I woke up in the middle of the night with this idea. And so what it is, you give $1 to the rental assistance program and an article of food to the food bank, or $2. And what I do is I go around to different groups, and I will put my dollars on the table and challenge people to match them. And as a result of that, the word got around, and people call me. I have jars, and Annie's has jars, Hatches has jars, Nantucket Behavioral Health has also jars, and I go around collecting whatever's in them once a month.
Okay. And how much money are we collecting?
Well, you'd have to talk to Janice Carrero, because I'm on the Interfaith Council of Churches.
Yep.
And that's how my cousin and I in 2003 started the very first Seventh-day Adventist church here on Nantucket.
You did?
Yeah.
What is a Seventh-day Adventist?
We go strictly by the Bible, and we also go by the Ten Commandments. So we have our services on Saturday instead of Sunday.
How is it a big church?
Worldwide.
Is it big here on Nantucket?
No, it's not very. It's a small church.
Small here.
Small.
And where
here.
is it?
We meet at the Methodist Church.
Oh, you do?
Yes,
okay.
On Saturdays.
Oh, on Saturdays, right.
Right.
I know. Okay.
And but we have hospitals worldwide. We've been very much into the health message. Adventists tend to live longer because most of them are vegetarians.
Oh, is that right?
And we've had, like I said, we have hospitals all over the world. We have colleges. We have.
Did you grow up here on Nantucket?
No, on Nantucket?
Yeah.
I was born here.
You were?
And we lived here until I was 11, and then my parents moved off island.
Okay.
It was just about the time that the Second World War was right around Pearl Harbor. And so my dad joined the Coast Guard, and then we went back to Brockton. And then my mother and father came back here in the 50s, and my mother had like a little, I wouldn't call it a boarding house, but she rented rooms on 24 India Street.
Yep.
And she had a contract for the telephone operators that came to the island.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She had them come and stay.
Yeah, that was a busy time then.
It was a busy time. And then they left again in the 80s, and we ended up in Florida. And then my dad contracted Alzheimer's. So I moved them in with me, and then after my father died, I asked my mother if she wanted to come home, and she did, and so I brought her back here in 2001. She passed away in 2007. So since I came back to the island, I've been very much into advocacy for people's rights, because I saw what happened to my parents with the medical field. If you don't have an advocate and you're old and you're not sure what's going on with all the stress that you have, you really need somebody to advocate for you.
Did they have insurance?
They did, but I'm
Didn't that help?
I'm talking about dignity and respect.
Oh, okay. You can't buy that.
No, you can't. You cannot buy it, and it's one of the things that we all need.
Does that have to come from family, or who's responsible for that?
I think it's the way we treat one another. I really think it's the way we treat one another. We tend not to, I don't know what it is that I found, that when people get over 65, suddenly we're supposed to be brain dead.
Supposed to be what?
Brain dead.
Oh.
We don't know what we're doing.
I see.
And so
You think that's what people think of people that are over 65?
Not everybody, but there's enough of it going on that makes it more difficult.
So how do we change
elders.
that? How do we?
We change it by this message that we all.
And this goes back to.
This goes back to helping people who can't help themselves.
Good for you. What a wonderful thing you're doing.
I think part of my career was in addiction, and I was an addiction specialist, and I worked in the field for over 30 years. So
As what? When you
as
say
a counselor.
You were a counselor.
I was a counselor. I developed some programs.
Did you have an addiction to something?
I did.
You did?
I did.
Was it alcohol?
Yes. So 38 years without a drink.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Do you still go to AA or?
Yeah, I still.
You still go?
I still.
Yeah,
I still do.
Yeah.
Not as often as I used to. But you know, the recovery community here on Nantucket is wonderful. They really are. You know.
You mean the
12-step
percentage of
programs.
people who actually?
They support one another.
Yeah.
They're very loving and caring. You know, I think a 12-step program would be good for everybody, because what it does is it makes you responsible. You're responsible for your behavior and how you treat people, and in the same time you have compassion and empathy. You know, and working in that field over the years and watching people come out of their addiction has been just amazing for me, because only 1 out of 35 recover. So, you know, you're looking at a small amount, and it's a journey that is very hard to take, because most people, I shouldn't say most because it's much better now, but maybe half of our society looks down on people and think that you did this to yourself. They don't understand that it's a disease.
Well, we're slowly learning, I believe, in many other ways, aren't we? I think we're growing very quickly lately.
We are, and it's a brain disease.
Yeah.
So the brain is affected, and you got to give that brain time to recover. And it takes, you know, anywhere from 6 to 18 months before that brain gets back to normal. Our reward system in our brain, our pleasure center, is so impacted on several different places, which means that, you know, we want to look for that. And I often say that because the average age of someone who usually gets into some kind of alcohol or drugs is 12 years old, and if they don't recover until they're in their 30s or 40s, then they have to learn how to grow up all over again, how to make good decisions, you know, how to get out of that self-centeredness. And a lot of it is fear-based. I would say that alcoholism and drug addiction is a symptom of maybe some other underlying things. You know?
Well, but also it is genetic.
Absolutely.
I mean,
absolutely.
You got to keep an eye on that. That's a free-teller.
It is.
If your parents had it, you better watch it.
Right. But my parents didn't have it.
Oh, well, okay.
They found it somewhere else.
All right, well, I want to wish you all the best with your island-wide giving. And if people want to give, 325 is your number, 325-4029.
Okay.
Thank you, Louise.
Thanks, Gino.
Well, I want to share with you this fact that my personality and my blood type are the same. Be positive.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you
very much. Yeah.